Wanted to do a video about adult braces, but this is another one, a react video to somebody who went through braces as an adult. Let's see what she has to say.
I had a bunch of little gaps on my bottom teeth. It's more something that
we got some spaces on the bottom. You can see right there, right there, right there, right there. Notice the relationship between, okay, so we got the back teeth right here and the relationship between the canines here and here. It's pretty tight there, which is usually good. What we don't want, some people think that their bite is supposed to be like this, where their top teeth rest right on top of the bottom teeth. But really, everybody should have a little bit of overbite where your top teeth are in front of your bottom teeth. In theory, that can help with reducing the damage to these teeth, the unnecessary wear of those teeth. Okay, there's the change. Let's compare. So definitely the spaces are gone between the bottom teeth. Close the space on the top. Some people think that these are spaces, and they are in the sense that you can see it's, space. Both laterals here and here, but there's still a little bit of space like in between the top and the bottom teeth. Instead of them being overlapping like this, you see a little bit of space in between. So gone, open, right? And that's what you can see right here. So maybe not the most completely ideal finish. Sometimes it's hard to get ideal everywhere. Technically, the teeth are together everywhere else, but there is space in between the top and the bottom teeth. I noticed that the top teeth are a little narrow. Sometimes if you have narrow teeth on top, this is an easy way to figure out if you have a small tooth on the top, right? Lateral incisors. If you can look at that tooth, the width, and compare it to the same bottom tooth, so like from here to here, and if it looks like it's the same size as that bottom tooth, then you probably have a size discrepancy. Either the bottom is too big or the top is too small. And anytime you're trying to close space, when your sizing is off, it can make it really hard to get the perfect bite where all the spaces in between are closed, unless you're willing to do other things like shave on the teeth, or if you have that makes it tooth smaller. So if it's too big, you can make it smaller. But if your tooth is too small, you could make it bigger by doing like a veneer or a buildup instead of trying to close all the space.
Didn't really notice, but you can definitely tell the difference now if you look at them side by side. Other than that, I didn't have to get like any teeth extracted. I didn't have to turn any teeth. It was purely gaps. The ones that
didn't have to get any teeth extracted. Well, nobody has to get teeth extracted. That all depends on you and your provider. Your provider will tell you, hey, this is what I think will help us get the best result, the most ideal result. Sometimes that includes taking out teeth. But in the end, you still get to decide whether or not you want to try and achieve that result that way. Many people, most people probably go through braces and just straighten teeth, close spaces, and don't extract teeth. Not every case requires extracting teeth. And again, when you say require, it just depends on what you mean. How are you going to try and get to the ideal result? Sometimes the most predictable way includes things like taking out teeth. So she didn't have to take out teeth. Most people don't have to take out teeth.
I looked at were Invisalign. I also looked at the Damon braces, which are the really, really small metal ones, but they're like the tiniest ones. And then of course, just the regular metal braces. Then the ones that I ended up going with were these ceramic braces, which are all white.
Invisalign, Damon brackets, traditional metal brackets, and then clear, ceramic are probably some of your most common brackets. Well, listen, the two metal ones, first off, are just metal brackets. The traditional Damon brackets are metal. They're just a self-ligating bracket. That means that the bracket itself has a built-in mechanism to close around the wire. It grabs on the wire to hold the wire in place. If you don't have a wire, your teeth aren't going to move. The traditional metal bracket is not self-ligating. It has an open face. That means that the wire can just move in and out unless you put like a color around it. The Damon brackets and the traditional brackets, there's no difference in the outcome when you compare it to a grading scale. Really, it comes down to a preference and how you want to deal with it, your particular provider. The ceramic brackets, they can break. They're more prone to fracture. Not necessarily like the actual bracket, like when you pop it off, when you're trying to take it off, just like when you take off your braces, when you're all done, right, you pop it off, the bracket can crumble and it leaves a good portion on the tooth, and it's a little bit harder to get off than the metal. It doesn't snap and crumble. It just deforms and it pops off. So, and I wouldn't necessarily suggest that, as far as I'm aware, that ceramic brackets are more likely to come off during your treatment. But as far as the fracturing is concerned, when you take them off, they can break. And the Invisalign, a lot of people are using clear aligners now to straighten teeth, close bites, close spaces, do lots of great things with them. The biggest thing on that one is just, can you be compliant? Can you treat them like braces where they stay on basically all the time? And if you can't, then you're just not going to get the same kind of results.
For a total of 1 year, which is exactly what my ortho had quoted me, and I was on the speed plan. So you can actually request the speed plan. They don't recommend it for children because it is a little bit more painful.
Speed plan, there is no such thing, no official official speed plan in the orthodontic industry. That's just how your provider wants to set it up and how often they see you. Or a speed plan could refer to just less time. Hey, we're gonna try and accomplish as much as we can in this short amount of time. There are no guarantees as far as, hey, you get the perfect results in this amount of time. It just doesn't work that way. Orthodontists usually go somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks for braces in general, not just ceramic, or metal or Damon or anything like that. Some orthodontists will push you out to 10, or I've heard with Invisalign clear aligners, sometimes you can go out even further because you have a lot of trays that you can work with, and if assuming you're compliant, you can get a lot done. And pain isn't necessarily a good thing. Pain can suggest, and I'm not talking about the soreness, but if it's really hurts, that could mean that you're not getting enough blood supply to your teeth and bones. If that's the case, then the tooth movement process may not be happening as physiologically as healthy of a way as possible. You don't really want pain. You want light, continuous forces for the most physiologic tooth movement.
And if you're on the fast plan, you're due for a tightening every 6 weeks. So it does cut down the time substantially, and that's how I was able to get them off so quickly. The very first tightening and
you can get them off as soon as you want to get them off. It all depends, in my opinion, on the results that you want. How far do you want to go? If you want to go to the best of the best, you might have to spend more time. If you're okay with the results that you've achieved in 1 year, that's all the treatment that you want to pay for, then yeah, you can tell your provider that you want them off.
Last 2 tightenings that I got from the entire treatment were the most painful ones. The first one, of course, because your mouth isn't used to it, you're going to be really sore, and it's just pulling all of those teeth back or forward, whichever direction.
She's exactly right.
And then the last 2 were really painful because I had a gap on my bottom teeth that did not want to close up. Like, it was being so stubborn. So the ortho asked me if I wanted to double band it to kind of shorten the period, or if I wanted to just kind of let it close up naturally. And I said, how bad is it going to be if you double band it? And he told me it was going to be pretty painful, but nothing that I couldn't tolerate, to just take Advil. So I did that. But once it was on, it was just regular soreness like it is from every other tightening. But of course, that's not something that you have to experience. So if you are considering getting braces, don't let this part freak you out. That was just a personal choice that I made to suck up the pain. So if you're somebody that can tolerate pain, then a lot of the stuff that I'm saying is painful probably won't even be painful for you.
My personal experience treating different adults with braces, Invisalign, expanders, herps, all sorts of things, is everybody experiences it a little bit different. Not, one person might feel really uncomfortable with something, and then the other person doesn't bother them at all. I see adults where their biggest issue is when we take off the braces and we have to do the cleaning on the tooth. We use a high-speed instrument that bzzz, and you can check out our other videos about that, but it buzzes off the glue, the remaining glue, and it's just really cold and it vibrates a lot. And for some reason, it seems like adults recognize the sensitivity more than some of the kiddos do. Not that kiddos don't feel the sensitivity, but it's just, that's my personal experience.
After every tightening, I was sore for 2 to 3 days afterwards. So definitely make sure to have soups on hand, because that's the only thing you can eat for 2 to 3 days. When I went in, they recommended that I remove my wisdom teeth because they would start shifting my teeth after all that work, which I decided against at the beginning. I told them I was going to keep them because they're all out already. But again, that was my personal choice. I didn't have to get them removed. That was just the doctor's recommendation.
As a patient, you should definitely feel empowered to make decisions, to ask questions, to figure out, if I do this versus this, get multiple opinions.
Now I made the decision that I am going to get my wisdom teeth removed. As far as the cost, mine were around $6,000, which is on the higher end of the braces, because I did get the ceramic braces, which are a little bit pricier. The Damon braces, which are metal, but not clear, they're just metal, but they're a lot smaller. Those are also around the same price.
We say a lot smaller, but really they're pretty close. And some orthodontists will charge more for Damon brackets than just traditional brackets, or some orthodontists will charge more for ceramic brackets than traditional brackets, like she said.
But like I said, I decided on the ceramics because I like the way that they look. One tip I can give you guys, if you do go down the ceramic route, they offer these clear bands. That's what you're supposed to wear them with, and they're supposed to be kind of clear and invisible. The clear ones turn yellow. So I told my ortho about it, and they recommended the silver bands, and I thought it was going to be noticeable, but it blends in with that metal wire, so you really can't tell. And that's what I wore. They don't stain, and it's a lot less noticeable, because when those clear bands start to turn yellow, it makes your entire teeth look yellow, and it just looks really bad. So
you are probably gonna have a metal wire anyways. You get the ceramic bracket, that's very good to know. People go for the ceramic brackets because it looks, you know, more invisible, but you still have a metal wire. And yes, those clear colored rings can turn yellow with time. And so silver rings or colors may blend in just as well and not stain. So that was great advice.
The reason I went with regular braces instead of Invisalign is because Invisalign, you have to remove them every time you eat. And I know myself, and I still have problems with wearing my retainers. So I didn't want to risk like procrastinating or not putting them on. And I felt like the process was going to take so much longer if it was left up to me. So that's why I decided to just go the metal route and just do the monthly appointments and have them adjust it for me, because I just know myself and I knew that I was just not going to follow up with it.
Excellent advice. If you can't be compliant, if you can't treat them like the braces, right? 20 plus hours a day, 24 hours a day, it's probably better, more predictable, time efficient, all those things if you consider the braces. I have heard of some people eating with their aligners in, but you just have to be careful. You don't want to get cavities.
What I used to clean my teeth during the entire time. So for starters, this is the toothbrush that I use. I use it before and after I got my braces. This is the Philips Sonicare, and this ended up being so perfect with my braces because of the skinny tip. If you have Invisalign, it doesn't matter. You can use whatever because you brush your teeth as normal. But if you get the metal braces, something skinny like this is really good because when you have the brackets, you can't just brush your teeth like straight on. You have to kind of like angle it like that. So can you guys see what I'm doing?
That's a good point. You gotta be able to get under the brackets or on top.
I don't have any more. I ran out.
You don't have to get an electric toothbrush, although if you use it, that's the most important. If what you need is an electric toothbrush in order to use it, get it.
Another thing that I loved and I used to keep on hand is these Easy Brush by Dentic, and I actually still use these. So these come individually packaged and they have a little plastic lid on them, and that's how thin they are. They don't replace your flossing, but they're good to have in case you don't have floss or you're out in public.
Be careful about putting a brush like this in between your teeth. It could lead to gum recession, spaces in between your teeth. So not that it always will, but just be careful. Toothbrush, floss, if you need a water pick, consider something like that.
My bottom teeth have always been sensitive, and the dentist recommended that I try this, so I did. I would say if you're gonna get braces, definitely switch over to something like this, even if you don't typically have sensitive teeth, because they will be a little more sensitive after tightenings and things like that.
Probably is not gonna necessarily make your teeth less sore. That hasn't been studied or proven in the research. As far as I'm aware, any specific toothpaste is required or beneficial, but you could try the different toothpaste for whitening and so on.
I had the option of getting 2 retainers, and I could either have 2 clear retainers or 2 wire or 1-in-1. These are the ones that I wear during the day, and I'm supposed to wear these every single day for 3 months, which I'm not wearing them right now, which is terrible. And then I also got the wire ones, which I wear at night. I don't like the metal ones at all. I'm gonna see if I can just get these replaced with the clear ones, because when I wear these, I feel like my teeth shift, because then I'll put these back on and it hurts to put them on. Like it feels like I'm getting a tightening done, and that's because my teeth are shifting. So these don't really hold my teeth.
That's very important. Be sure to visit with your provider, set up some sort of plan, or be aware, at least you're probably more than likely to get at least 1 set of retainers, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing top and bottom movements, then you're probably gonna get 1 set of retainers. But if you have specific requests about the retainer type, be sure to ask about that, put that into your plan financially. There's been no research that suggests that 1 retainer is far superior than the others. The biggest thing is wearing them. The wire retainers have been around for a really long time. We have other videos about that. They can last for a really long time. And the clear ones, some people love those because they're invisible, but they both can do a good job of holding your teeth, generally speaking. If you're noticing movement, some good guidance is if you're noticing your teeth feel sore, wear the retainers more, see if that helps make things feel less sore, or when you put the retainers in, more passive, so it's not like pushing really hard to get it in. Or sometimes you need to tighten your retainers if you've been in and out so much.
You can see what it looks like.
Look at that, she's got the wire on the front, very traditional retainer.
Oh, another thing that I wanted to let you guys know, when you go in the last few days, like when they're getting ready to take your braces off, the ortho is going to shape your teeth. And normally, from what I heard, they're supposed to tell you up front that they're gonna file your teeth and shape them to make them even. My ortho didn't tell me, and he just did it. And I got home that day and I was like, my teeth look different. And it turns out that they reshaped them.
Your orthodontist, your provider, whoever is, if they're gonna be buzzing on your teeth, they should ask about it first. Just so you know, generally speaking, it's very safe. They are reducing the shape of the tooth minimally, and it can add to the overall finish of the result, the way it looks, the symmetry. So it can be a great thing. Sorry for her experience where she showed up. That could be very frustrating if somebody was buzzing on your teeth and they didn't ask. So definitely talk about that at the very end. That's something that we offer to folks if they want to just touch things up or add a nice finishing touch to it. Thanks, Miss Liz, for putting yourself out there and sharing your experience with braces and giving everybody else who is considering a chance to understand a little bit about what's like as an adult. And I think you're spot on. You know, braces can be a great option or opportunity to improve your smile and the way that you feel about your teeth and your bite. And just because you're an adult doesn't mean that you can't or are past that point. Definitely lots of things that you can do. You can still be a candidate. One thing I would just advise is remember, as an adult, you might be more prone to periodontal disease, gum disease, bone loss, gum loss, which can be bad for teeth, and you don't want to be moving teeth if you've got that. So be sure to see your dentist before you go through that, before you start moving teeth, to make sure that your gums and your bone are healthy for tooth movement. I had an adult come in who wanted to pursue some straightening at the age of, she was older than 70. So it's not impossible. You just have to decide what your goals are. You might not be pursuing the most ideal results, but it is possible. You just want to make sure that your teeth are healthy, your gums are healthy before you pursue anything like that. And then, set a clear plan of what you want to accomplish, how long you're willing to spend in the braces or the Invisalign, and then continue to stay close to your dentist. Be open with your provider. Have plans for retainers, and you can get great teeth, great smile, great bite. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel and come find me in McKinney, Texas, so that I can open your eyes to the wonderful world of straight teeth, sometimes adult braces, and beautiful bites. That's all I've got, just a little PFO so you know where you're going. Packard out.